William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? Fight against that? No! We will run! And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
How bad do things have to get before you do something? Do they have to take away all your property? Do they have to license every activity that you want to engage in? Do they have to be throwing you on cattle cars before you start to say, now wait a minute, I don't think this is a good idea? How long is it going to be before you finally resist and say, no, I will not comply? Period. That's a different answer for each person. Ask yourself now, because sooner or later you're going to come to that line, and when they cross it, where you can say, well, okay, cross this line. Okay, now cross that line. Okay, now cross this line. And pretty soon you're in a corner. Sooner or later, you've got to draw a line and stand your ground, whether anybody else does or not. That is what liberty is all about.
I speak to you as a fellow citizen of the United States of America, deeply concerned about the welfare of our beloved country. I am not here to tickle your ears, to entertain you. I will talk to you frankly and honestly. The message I bring is not a happy one, but it is the truth. And time is always on the side of truth. Truth must be repeated again and again, because error is constantly being preached round about. I realize that the bearer of bad news is always unpopular. As a people, we love sweetness and light, especially sweetness. I am sorry to say that all is not well in so-called prosperous, wealthy, and powerful America. We have moved a long way and are now moving further and more rapidly down the soul-destroying road of socialism. The evidence is clear, shockingly clear, for all to see. With our national prestige at or near an embarrassing all-time low, we continue to weaken our domestic economy by unsound fiscal, economic, and foreign aid policies which corrupt our national currency. With the crass unconstitutional usurpation of power by the executive branch of the federal government, anti-spiritual decisions of the Supreme Court, all apparently approved by a weakly submissive rubber-stamped Congress, the days ahead are ominously frightening. It is imperative that American citizens become alerted and informed regarding the threat to our welfare, happiness, and freedom. No American is worthy of citizenship in this great land who refuses to take an active interest in these important matters. Stand up for freedom, no matter what the cost. It can help to save your soul and maybe your country. May God give us the wisdom to recognize the dangers of complacency the threat to our freedom, and the strength to meet this danger courageously.
And then we print and we print and we print until we can print no more. And we expand government until it is so large, so crippling, so all-encompassing, so controlling. As it grows, the discontent in the country continues to grow, and people have to be stopped. Well, for the good of everyone, we've got to take this right away, or we have to silence this person, or we have to cripple this company, or we have to put these executives in jail. And before you know it, you are left with nothing but a rotting government. You are left with nothing but a group of people in Washington who you don't trust now. And yet, they'd have all power. You give them the power of the banks, they control all of the finances. They control the way businesses grow. They control you from cradle to grave. And in the end, it collapses because that system doesn't work. And as it collapses, you either have a fascist dictator step into the control that gigantic government because your people are used to living under slavery, and we have completed the cycle that our founding fathers talked about. You have completed the cycle of starts at slavery, and then it is freedom and great enlightenment and prosperity, and then apathy and corruption and slavery. It does not have to end in slavery. But it's our choice. And it's our choice now. And while everybody else wants to talk about the stupid events of the day, while everybody else wants to talk about, did A-Rod take steroids? Who the hell cares? Well, everybody else just wants to talk about the Republicans and the Democrats. Could we please ask each other the question, who are we? Do we believe, here's the question, are you willing to do the tough thing now? And I mean, have pain beyond your wildest imagination. Let's look at the worst case scenario. Are you willing today to live through great pain, have great suffering? Are you willing to lose everything to save the future for your children? I am willing to lose my job, my fame, my fortune. I am willing to work with my hands in the soil. I've never done it before. You don't want to eat around me because the carrots are going to be malformed and very small. The potatoes are going to stink on ice. I don't know how to grow anything. I don't know how to shoot anything. I certainly don't know how to gut anything. But I'll learn. I'll learn. Or would you just rather have somebody else take care of it? I want an answer. My answer is I'll suffer for freedom tomorrow. I will pay the ultimate price for my children to be able to be free. I will not stand before my God, and when He asks me, when all of this was going on, Glenn, what were you doing? I put men in charge. In no time has there ever been more wise men, better men, more ethical men, more enlightened men than the founding fathers. I orchestrated the whole thing so they could get together and they could create this. And then they fought for it, they bled for it, they died for it. And then they passed it on to you, and you stood and did what? I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. I just listened to the people on television. I just wanted to keep my house. I was afraid. I refuse to answer that way. We, as a country, were founded on divine principles, through divine providence. And we must once again mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.